This is the Main Street Preps High School Football Preview Show presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Fans don't let fans drive drunk.
It's Thursday, and that means high school football is right around the corner. This is the Main Street Preps High School Football Preview Show presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, where fans don't let fans drive drunk. Let's hear about what's going on in and around Middle Tennessee from each of the writers in the Main Street Preps Network. We've got folks from Lebanon to Houston County, from Portland to Pulaski, keeping you covered each and every week. Find out what's going to happen tonight and tomorrow across the mid-state in high school football. Now, without further ado, let's start in Murray County with Maurice Patton, who has this week's update from there.
Hey, I'm Maurice Patton, sports editor at Main Street Murray. We are heading into week 9 of the high school football season. 3 weeks remaining in the regular season, and postseason situations are starting to take shape for some folks. We've got a little bit of a short schedule this week because we've still got a couple of teams taking their open date / fall break. But big matchup in Region 5 2A Friday night as East Hickman visits Mount Pleasant. The Eagles coming in at 6-1 overall, 4-0 in region play. Their only loss coming to Houston County earlier this year. Mount Pleasant 5-2, 3-1 in region play, coming off of an open date this past weekend, but also coming off of back-to-back losses, one to region rival Lewis County 8-6, and the second at Donaldson Christian in a non-region matchup, 44-6. So it'll be intriguing to see how Mount Pleasant comes off of, again, those back-to-back losses, and whether the Tigers are able to mount some offense against an East Hickman team that has been able to put some points on the board. So that'll be a challenge at home for the Tigers in that one. Another region matchup on Friday night in Region 5 5A action. Franklin County comes to Columbia Central. The host Lions are 4-3 overall, 2-2 in region play. They currently are in 4th place in that region and have dropped matches to at least 2 of the teams in front of them. They still got Lincoln County to play, but they have fallen to Shelbyville and to Tullahoma. So this game here is really a must for them. And Franklin County looking for their first win of the season. The Rebels 0-7 overall, 0-3 in region action. So while this one looks like it could be a little lopsided, Columbia Central still needs to take care of business and try to lock down a playoff spot with a win here. Non-region matchup as Independence goes to Fairview. The Eagles 1-6 coming off of a win at Overton prior to fall break in their open date last week. Fairview 4-3 on the year. Again, Independence 1-6. That win at Overton prior to the fall break, snapping a 6-game skid to open the season. Matthew Horner, the sophomore quarterback, pretty productive in that one, 110 rushing yards and a touchdown. And it'll be interesting to see if the Eagles can maintain some momentum again from that Thursday night win in week 7 and the open date this past weekend as they go out to Fairview. Finally, a Region 6 6A contest on Friday night has Summit hosting Overton. Neither of those teams has won a region game yet. Overton 2-5 overall, Summit 1-6 and on a 6-game skid. So if Summit can pick up a victory here, they've still got a shot despite what's been a disappointing season to this point at getting into the postseason because they closed the season against Independence. So big game for the Spartans at home on Friday night against Overton. That's what we've got in week 9 down here in and around Murray County. I'm Maurice Patton, sports editor from Main Street Murray. We'll see y'all next week.
His partner in crime on Main Street Sports Today, airing each day from 2 to 4 p.m. on weekdays on Main Street Media TV, is Wade Neely. Wade will have you covered in Giles and Lawrence counties. Wade?
What's up, folks? Wade Neely here, sports editor at the Pulaski Citizen, contributor over at the Lawrence County Advocate. We have reached week 9, and it's time for a preview of what's to come. Should be another fantastic football Friday. It was very chilly earlier in this half of the week, but it is going to warm up by Friday. Still be a little cool. Might be that first Friday night. Maybe you bust out the blanket, but we've got a good slate of games for our area teams as well. We'll start with our Lawrence County squads as a couple of non-region games for two of our teams over in Lawrence County. And we begin with the Loretto Mustangs, 4-3, going on the road to take on the Eagleville Eagles. This should be a fun contest as Loretto coming in, been a bit up, been a bit down, but we know their offense is explosive, and we know they can win some close games. Should be a fun one again as the Mustangs hit the road for a non-region matchup versus the Eagleville Eagles. I mentioned non-region games. There might not be a bigger one in our area as Summertown and Richland, former region rivals, now meeting in a non-region capacity, and it should be a great showdown when these two squads link up over at Wayne Hobbs Memorial Stadium in Linville. 5-2 Summertown versus 6-1 Richland. Summertown seemingly has righted the ship after a couple of close losses in the middle portion a few weeks ago. They bounce back with a nice win, and again, they come into this contest 5-2. Richland is 6-1. They lost their week 1 opener to Lincoln County. And, man, they have reeled off 6 straight wins, look good in the process. They're throwing the ball, they're running the ball, and they're taking names defensively as well. Should be a great showdown between two of our area rivals. Finally, in Lawrence County, the Wildcats, this is a do-or-die situation for Coach Marston and his bunch. 2-5, but 1-3 in region play. They hit the road for a showdown at Shelbyville, and the Eagles are 6-1 and 3-0. And so that will be a tall order for Coach Marston's bunch. But if you're going to do it, you not only get the win, but you get right back in contention as far as postseason play goes. So that will be one that we will keep our eyes on as well. And we close out with one as Giles County is in region play as well. Not the strongest opponent, but you still got to show up. You still got to play the game, and Giles County will look to do that. The 4-3 Bobcats are 2-0 in region play. Struggled at times in the second half to slow down Watertown 2 weeks ago, but they resounding victory last week maybe has GCHS feeling better. 49-8, they were victorious over Grundy County in their showdown last Friday night. Community is 0-7, 0-2 in the region. Again, they are one of the, on paper at least, weaker teams in all of 3A. So Giles County hopefully continues to play well, and if they show up and take care of business, they should be able to pull out a nice win. That's a preview of what's to come. We just have 2 more weeks of the regular season once we wrap this one up. Weeks 10 and weeks 11 promised to be full of region action and also a big non-region matchup for Giles County next week. But that's next week. We'll talk more about that next time. But for now, that's a preview of all of our squads in Giles County and Lawrence County. I'm Wade Neely saying so long. We'll see you next time.
As always, thanks, Wade. Let's go over now to Rutherford County, where Monte Hale has you set with his Murfreesboro area report.
Hello, I'm Monte Hale, sports editor of the Murfreesboro Post. Fall break's over. We did have one game last week, I will mention that. PCA defeated Ezell Harding 43-0, and that will move them in a great place as far as clinching a playoff berth. But we've got a full schedule this week, and we've got some good ones. 2 huge ones right here in Rutherford County. Riverdale at Blackman. Battle for second place right now in the standings. Riverdale is yet to lose a region game. Blackman has lost 1. Riverdale has allowed 47 points this year. My math's not great, but they played 7 games. I'll let you figure that out. Blackman has played the toughest schedule in the state. Number 1, Oakland. Number 3, Ravenwood. And number 6, Brentwood, are their only losses, and that's by a combined 25 points. So they've been in every game they played this year. This is known as the backyard brawl. Hopefully that won't be the case. but I do expect a very physical football team. And plus, you've always got the unique dynamic of twin brothers coaching against each other in Matt Kreisky at Blackman and Will Kreisky at Riverdale. So should be a great one at Blackman Friday night. Another huge one in Rutherford County is Smyrna at Stewart's Creek, about a mile and a half apart from one another. Stewart's Creek's undefeated in region play. Smyrna undefeated in region play. Stewart's Creek has already beaten Antioch, who a lot of people thought would win this region. So I look for another great matchup. Smyrna has gotten the best of them in their brief, early rivalry. But these are a Smyrna team that has found its way. They struggled early, but they're playing good football now, as they typically do under head coach Matt Williams. In Stewart's Creek, they've been pretty hot out of the get-go. They're 6-1. Only lost to Blackman, which we've already talked about them and the tough schedule they play. Oakland at Coffee County. Coffee County, physical team. They play hard. They give you everything they got. I just think that the athletes and the talent level will be too much in this one. Beach at Siegel. Beach just doesn't give up points. Matter of fact, they shut out Riverdale earlier this year, 7-0. Siegel has struggled offensively. They're going to have to find some twists and turns that work their way and get back to playing their brand of football. The Kings Academy out of East Tennessee is at MTCS, another big region game. This should be a pretty tight game. Probably give the edge to Kings Academy just because of their experience. Loretto at Eagleville, another good matchup. It's a non-region matchup. Eagleville's trying to get a streak going. They'll win one or two, then they'll lose, and they'll win. They're trying to still find their way a little bit. Green Hill at Laverne. Green Hill is undefeated at 7-0. Laverne's 0-7. So the natural thing to say is, okay, this one's over. Laverne's problem is not on the defensive side of the football. They played great defense all year. They just really labor to score. They've been shut out 3 times. I think 10 points is their highest output. They're going to have to find a way to score and, rely on that defense. Rockvale at Pope John Paul II. Rockvale coming off an impressive win over Coffee County. Both of these teams appear to be pretty evenly matched. It's which version of Rockvale are we going to get come Friday? PCA, as I mentioned, they won 43-0 last week. They were the only team that played during fall break. They are off this week, so well-deserved. Rutherford County standings, Oakland 7-0 overall, 3-0. Riverdale 6-1, 2-0. Blackman 4-3 and 1-1. And Rockvale, Coffee County, and Siegel battling it out. Stewart's Creek and Smyrna atop their region at 2-0, followed by Antioch 2-1, McGavock 1-2, Cane Ridge 1-2, and Laverne 0-3. Eagleville's in 4th place in their region 5-1A. They're 4-3 and 2-2, so still in the hunt for the playoffs. And in the Division 2A East, Friendship Christian leads the way at 2-0. PCA's 2-1. Kings Academy, who plays at MTCS, is 1-1. The Cougars are 0-1, and Ezell Harding is 0-2. I'm Monte Hale, sports editor of the Murfreesboro Post.
Thanks, Monty, as always. We'll take our first break right now. When we come back, more previews from around the Mid-State here on the Main Street Media High School Football Preview Show presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Stay tuned.
He shoots, and he scores!
At Delta Dental of Tennessee, we know our success begins and ends with providing superior quality service, and that includes serving those who need it most. This year, we're celebrating 25 years of giving back to the community we call home. Delta Dental, along with our Smile 180 Foundation, supports Tennessee's dental colleges and oral health education, children's hospitals, free and reduced cost dental clinics, and other like-minded charities. Here's to the next 25 plus years of ensuring healthy smiles.
Welcome back into the Main Street Preps High School Football Preview Show right here on Main Street Media Television each and every week on Thursdays. Thanks for hanging out with us. We've got more from around the Mid-State to get you prepared for what's going to happen tonight and tomorrow in high school football around Middle Tennessee. Let's go to Wilson County where Tommy Bryan has you covered.
Hello, everybody. This is Tommy Bryan, sports editor of the Wilson Post in Lebanon. And here's a look at this week's high school football schedule involving the 7 teams in my coverage area. Everyone should be well rested after open dates were the order of the day back on October the 11th due to fall break. Longtime in-county rivals Mount Juliet and Lebanon will square off Friday in the 48th consecutive meeting since the rivalry was renewed back in 1977. Kickoff is scheduled for 7:07 p.m. at Tribble Field, Watkins Stadium, with a live radio coverage beginning at 6:30 p.m. on WANT-FM 98.9. A Middle Tennessee television audience will be tuned in as well, as the Region 4 6A game is once again featured on the MyTV 30 Friday Night Rivals package. With last year's 38-31 double overtime win over the Blue Devils at Roger Perry Field, Mount Juliet snapped a modest 2-game losing streak. Prior to those 2 victories, the Golden Bears had won 12 games in a row and currently leads the series 32-20. Mount Juliet stands 7-0 overall, 4-0 in the region, while Lebanon High is 3-4, 2-2 in the region. Watertown's Purple Tigers will hit the road a day early and journey to Coalmont to take on Region 4 3A rival Grundy County High School. Watertown enters Thursday's contest 1-6, 0-2 in the region, while the Yellow Jackets are 3-4 with a record of 1-1 in Region 4 3A. Wilson Central will take on Gallatin High in a Region 4 6A contest Friday at Calvin Short Field. The Wildcats, 2-5 overall, 0-3 in the region, are coming off a 41-6 home loss to Lebanon back on October 4, while Gallatin, 2-5, 1-3, dropped a 45-29 loss at Cookeville on that same night. Undefeated Green Hill, with a record of 7-0, steps out of region to play at Laverne High School on Friday at Freedom Field. The Wolverines dropped to 0-7 following a 15-6 loss at McGavick back on October the 3rd. Friendship Christian School's Commanders will travel to Jamestown on Friday to take on York Institute in a battle of 5-2 outfits. York opened the season 0-2, but has since won 5 games in a row. Mount Juliet Christian Academy, with a record of 3-4, will try to break a 3-game losing streak as the Saints pay a visit to Nashville Glencliff on Friday. The Colts are 1-6 after being pounded 64-0 by Centennial High back on October the 4th. That's a look at the Week 9 prep football schedule here in Wilson County. For Main Street Preps, I'm Tommy Bryan, and I will talk to you later.
Tommy, as always, we greatly appreciate it. Love seeing that mug each and every week on TV. Let's go now to Sumner County, where Blaine Kellar is standing by.
Sports editor Blaine Kellar here to recap and look ahead to a few games in the Week 9 Sumner County football schedule. Typically on this show, we're only previewing games, though a Monday Night Football matchup between Liberty Creek and Stratford allows for one recap. And in this week's show, the Wolves winning 28-21 in Nashville and securing a regular season sweep of the Spartans. No, that's really weird to say in high school football, but Republic's forfeiting of its 2024 season allowed both of these teams to rematch after playing 3 weeks ago. This game was a lot closer than the first meeting. That was 41-6, but Mac Tuggle had another big game, rushing for 256 yards on 32 attempts. He had 2 touchdowns. Grayson Christian rushed in for a score, and Ace Hogg threw a 4-yard pass to Nate King for another touchdown in the red zone. Despite a couple of big scores and big performances, the defense played well for Liberty Creek. The Wolves needed a couple of stops on some potential game-tying or go-ahead drives by Stratford in the fourth quarter. Max Dowell played a pretty pivotal performance. Seth Taylor had an interception in that game. The Wolves moved to 3-5 now, with 2 of their wins coming against Stratford this season. Big matchup coming up in a few weeks for them against Maplewood as well. But let's look ahead to Friday and see what's on tap there. Lots of teams on the road. Hendersonville heads to Portland in a pivotal Region 7 5A matchup. Being a battle for second place at this point. Really huge implications on the line here. Portland and Coach Hunter Hicks, they win this game, they're in second place. Oddly enough, if they lose it, they might be out of the playoff picture entirely. Hendersonville, of course, with the same kind of stakes, though their path to the postseason seems a bit more clear-cut. They win this one, they have a really strong chance at a home playoff game going into November. Beach heads to Rutherford County to take on Siegel and the one-win Stars. JP2 also playing a Murfreesboro-based opponent in Rockvale. Station Camp travels to Creekwood in a, again, very important Region 5 4A matchup. The Red Hawks are much improved, and the Bison are beginning a mid-season turnaround once again. Westmoreland looks to continue its winning ways, its hot stretch winning streak against Smith County in region action. And White House with a big task in non-region play. They're going up against undefeated Upperman on the road. Let's look at the games ahead, and one game that's already been in the books in Sumner County. Be sure to catch our coverage on Main Street Preps. We'll kick it back to you guys.
Thanks, Blaine. Always a pleasure to hear from you. We'll go over now to Robertson County, where David Wilson has you covered with a report.
Everybody, this is David Wilson, sports reporter for the Robertson County Connection, here to give you a quick preview of all the Week 9 games across the Robertson County area this week. Robertson County schools return from fall break this week, and that means 4 area programs are back in action off their bye week. We'll kick things off in Springfield, Tennessee, as the host Yellow Jackets, who are 3-4 on the year, clutching to the final playoff spot in Region 7-5A, hosts the visiting Hunters Lane Warriors from Nashville, who are 2-5 on the year. This is a must-win game for Springfield, as they are, as I mentioned, clutching to the final playoff spot in their region. If Portland wins both of their next 2 matchups at home versus Hendersonville and on the road at Hunters Lane, who is in last place in the region, and if Springfield loses one of its 2 matchups versus Hunters Lane and Beach, the Portland Panthers could find themselves in the Class 5A playoffs at the 4th spot in the region standing. So this is a must-win for Springfield, as they are looking to continue their run to the playoffs. They could potentially miss out for the first time since 2013. So must-win for Springfield, as Dustin Wilson, in particular, their head coach, is looking for his 100th career win this Friday as he takes the sidelines against Hunters Lane. Moving on, Pearl Cone, who is 5-2 on the year, ranked in the top 10 of the Tennessee Sports Writers Association Class 4A poll. They are number 7 right now. They host Greenbrier, who is 0-7 on the year and still looking for their first win of the season. This is a really talented Procom team that lost its first 2 games of the year to CPA and NBA, but they have found their rhythm as of late. Javion Kennard is a very electric player with the ball in his hands, and quarterback LJ Funk has found his groove throwing the football after those early season losses to those private school powers. This will be a tough task for Greenbrier as they head to play on the turf down in Nashville. Looking forward to that one. Hopefully they stop by Sweats and get them a nice meat and 2 on the way over there. Moving on, White House. Coming off their bye week, will travel to face the number 1 team in Class 4A, the Upperman Bees, who are 7-0 on the year and have an electric offense that has scored at least 35 points in every single one of their 7 games this week. Their quarterback, junior Bronston Chaffin, is a Mr. Football candidate this year. There's no doubt about that. He also has a running back, Ethan Polk, that can run the football. They're very dynamic offensively. They can run and pass the football. So Upperman, the number 1 team in 4A, they have been beating people very bad this year. So a tough challenge for White House this week as they go on the road to Upperman. And then finally, White House Heritage, who is 5-2 on the year, just missed out on getting ranked in our Tennessee Sports Writers Association poll in Class 3A. They were the number 12 team, just missing the top 10 rankings. They're looking to extend their winning streak to 5 consecutive games this week as they travel up to Dover, Tennessee to face the Stewart County Rebels, who are 0-7 on the year. Stewart County has not won a football game since October of 2022. That might spell doom for the Rebels as they host a high-flying Patriots attack that features quarterback Xavier Murray, who has thrown 29 touchdowns through his first 7 games. Wide receiver Eric Lopez, who's continued to set the world on fire after his breakout season last year, and a Heritage defense that has continued to improve over the last several weeks. That's it on this week's edition of the preview here in Robertson County. Looking forward to talking to you guys on the recap next week.
Thanks, David. Greatly appreciate all of your work this season so far. We're going to take our final break of the day. Got a couple more previews to get to, so stick around here on the Main Street Media High School Football Preview Show, presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.
He shoots, and he scores!
Welcome back into the Main Street Preps High School Football Preview Show here on Main Street Media Television. Don't forget, you can always download your Main Street Media Television app on your smart TV or on your iPhone, Android, Fire Stick, Apple devices, all of that, Main Street Media TV. If you don't have access to any of those, you can always go to mainstreetmediatv.com, visit our YouTube channel, Facebook pages, or, of course, on X, formerly known as Twitter. Make sure to check out all of our great shows that air each and every day. They are on demand, online, as well as live each and every week. So without further ado, got a couple more previews to get to. Let's go to Calvin White, who's up in Montgomery and Houston counties.
Hello, everyone. This is Calvin White, sports editor with Main Street Clarksville, here to give you a quick preview of all the Week 9 high school football action in Montgomery County. The Clarksville-Montgomery County school system is on fall break this week, so only one team is in action. Kenwood is hosting Dickson County. Kenwood 2-5, coming off consecutive wins over Northeast and Northwest. Dickson County comes in at 3-4 and is coming off consecutive losses to Clarksville and Rossview. Dickson County lost 42-7 to Clarksville and lost a nail-biter 18-15 to Rossview last week. Kenwood looking to string together their 3rd consecutive win over the 5th placed Dickson County team in Region 7 6A. That'll do it for all of the high school football action in Montgomery County for Week 9. I'm Calvin White, sports editor with Main Street Clarksville. I'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, Calvin. Greatly appreciate what you have done this season. And finally, Cheatham and Dickson counties, where Casey Patrick is standing by.
Hi, my name is Casey Patrick. I'm a sports reporter for the Dickson Post and the Cheatham County Exchange. We're going to give you a quick rundown and all the action coming up this Friday for some football. All the Cheatham teams are off. Harpeth, Sycamore, and Cheatham County Central are all off for the week. But over in Dixon County, both Dixon County and Creekwood will be back in action on Friday after taking last week off. We'll start with the game that I'll be at. Creekwood is hosting Station Camp. Creekwood comes into this game 5-2, of course, coming off a bye. Good thing for them. Station Camp is 2-5, but their 5 losses are to some legit teams: Beach, Gallatin, Marshall County, Springfield, and Pearl Cone. So 2-5 is not a very good indication of how good that team is. Plus, they've got a new quarterback that I'm pretty sure has helped them win 2 of those games here recently. So Creekwood looking at a big region game with Station Camp. They need to win that one, or they may be possibly in a win and end game with White House in the last week of the season. So big game for Creekwood coming up Friday. Like I said, I'll be there on Friday. Creekwood looking to get back into the playoffs. Dixon County will be on the road. They're headed to Kenwood. Kenwood is 2-5, but both of their wins have come in the last few weeks, both against Northeast and Northwest. So I think Dixon County's got a chance to get back to 500. They're at 3-4 right now, looking to get back to 4-4. And of course, they're trying to get back in the playoffs as well. So thank y'all. Have a wonderful evening, and try and stay warm out there this Friday.
Casey, thanks so much. Thank you guys for hanging out with us here on this edition of the Main Street Preps High School Football Preview Show. Again, don't forget tonight is the Main Street Preps High School Football Game of the Week. You can see it on Main Street Media Television. So please make sure to tune in, and you just may hear a familiar voice, or maybe not. We'll see. So join us then. Until next time, I'm Chris Yao for Main Street Media. Have a great day.
This is the Main Street Preps High School Football Preview Show, presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Fans don't let fans drive drunk.
He shoots, and he scores!
At Delta Dental of Tennessee, we know our success begins and ends with providing superior quality service, and that includes serving those who need it most. This year, we're celebrating 25 years of giving back to the community we call home. Delta Dental, along with our Smile 180 Foundation, supports Tennessee's dental colleges and oral health education, children's hospitals, free and reduced cost dental clinics, and other like-minded charities. Here's to the next 25 plus years of ensuring healthy smiles.